Starting with a bad machine is the fastest way to just get frustrated. Not to mention the expense of fabric and the scarcity of fabric now. The truth is, sewing projects can take a lot of time. So if you don't manage those expectations from the start, you're sure to get frustrated and potentially just quit sewing altogether. So how do you skip the frustration and get results? So today I'm going to give you 6 tips that I wish I would have known from the start. Some of these I have learned the hard way, trial and error, and some of them are things that my mom taught me. She was a seamstress for 25 years. I started helping her with her sewing business in about 2009. I started sewing as a kid, but in 2009 is when I started sewing professionally with her. So the first tip I'll give you came straight from my mom, and that is to not cut into fabric after 9 p.m. And I guess this is kind of a common sentiment. I didn't realize that when she told me, but I've seen people have it on signs on their wall, in their sewing spaces and stuff. But this is one that I do have to remind myself of frequently because my husband works nights. He's a piano player, and so he frequently works nights. And so I have lots of time in the evenings, not lots, but a good bit of time in the evenings to be sewing, which is actually really lovely. But so that means sometimes I'm sewing after 9 p.m. and I really have to remind myself to just go ahead and clock out, because when you get fatigued and tired, it's not a good time to be cutting into fabric, particularly if it's expensive fabric or somebody else's, or if you have limited of that fabric. So that's the number one rule, is don't cut into fabric after 9 p.m. Or, side note, when you're just getting tired or fatigued because you've been sewing for many hours, just go ahead and clock out and come back to it when you're fresh on another day. And then these are in no particular order. The next one is probably one of my favorites, and then the last one is super important too, so stick around for that. But the next one is to not be a perfectionist. This one is hard for me. There is definitely 100 ways to skin a cat. So don't get bogged down with whether or not you're doing something right or not. Just do it. Get it done. And then learn from your mistakes. I have tons of sewing books. This is just a handful of the sewing books that I have. I love to pick up sewing books. I love to peruse them and look through and see how it is that people do things, the techniques and methods that they use. Particularly some of these older ones, it's fun to see if there's differences in construction methods and things like that. But I'll tell you that I can go through some of these books. I've got a lot of window treatment books, and everybody does things just a little bit different. There are some standard procedures and standard methods for things, but everybody has their own tweaks and little ways to do things. So just don't get caught up in whether or not you're doing something exactly right. Just do it, and you might figure out a better way. And then you can go back and look at your work and figure out, could I have done this better, or just learn from your mistakes. That's the best way that I learn, is learning from my mistakes. I make a mistake one time, and that's all it takes for me. I will never do that again, mostly. But yeah, another aspect to this is that once you start sewing, you'll start to notice things all around you. Like when I go to a nice hotel or a restaurant or a shop that has beautiful window treatments, I always go up to them and take a look at them and see how they're constructed. Did they hand sew the side hems, machine stitch them, blind stitch them, how they do the hems on the bottom, did they miter the corners, how wide of a hem did they use. I love to look at really tall curtains and see if they put a 4-inch, a 5-inch, or a 6-inch hem in the bottom. So I always check out those things now. My friends laugh at me because I'll always go up and inspect the curtains and see how they're made. And then with upholstery too, I always inspect upholstery jobs, look things over, see how things were done, how things were put together. You'll start to notice things everywhere once you start sewing. It's actually pretty fun. So number two is buy a good machine from the start. And I don't mean buy an expensive machine. You don't have to spend a fortune. Buy something that's used, either from Facebook Marketplace or eBay or your local sewing machine repair shop. They usually have good deals on machines that people just don't want anymore. So get a good quality machine that is not going to be frustrating. Skip the Amazon and skip the Walmart machines. I see a lot of people, beginner sewers, buying the Singer heavy duty machine, that gray machine with the red Singer thing on there. And I used that machine when I was teaching costume design in a high school, and we had a bunch of those machines, and they're just finicky and unreliable and just not a great machine for a new sewer that can potentially become easily frustrated. So get a good machine. I bought this machine from somebody on Facebook Marketplace. It's a Bernina 1130. I just bought this machine probably 3 months ago, and it is the exact same machine that I used since, well, my mom bought this exact machine in 1986, the year it was made, and she used it full-time in her sewing business, sewed with it from 7 a.m. till 4 p.m. Monday through Friday until it became my machine in 2009. And then I used it in my business, and it has been an absolute workhorse. My sewing machine technician told me to never get rid of this machine. He said it's all metal parts, it'll last forever. I used to have my machine serviced once a year, and then my sewing machine technician died, and so I didn't have it serviced for a couple years, and then it just recently broke. Anyways, I fully expect for this machine to last me another 40 years. We'll see. But it is so easy to use. It's just a pleasure to work with this machine. It's so easy to use. So get a good quality machine from the start. And I don't know if I said this, but I only paid $500 for this from somebody on Facebook. There were quite a few of this model machine. People were asking, you know, around $1,000 for most of them. I just got a really good deal from that guy. He had originally listed it for $800, and then he lowered it to $500, and that's when I bought it. So you should be able to get a really good machine for $500. I think this is number 4, and this is, if you're just starting out, don't start with really expensive fabric, because it's inevitable that you're going to have to be picking out seams and there's going to be mistakes. So start with fabric that is clearance fabric, or even potentially thrift store curtain panels, or thrift store sheets, or thrift store tablecloths, or start with drop cloths even if you're going to be doing potentially a slip cover and you've never done a slip cover before. Start with an inexpensive fabric so that if you do make a mistake, if you make some wrong cuts, you're not going to be wasting big money on fabric. I know it's so hard and so tempting to buy that gorgeous fabric that you've been eyeing and seeing all over Pinterest, but if you're just starting out, start with something inexpensive. And if you do really want to make something with a designer fabric that's very expensive, maybe start with a sheet or a drop cloth and try your project first, or if you're doing upholstery, do practice cuts with a cheap fabric or a sheet first, and then put your designer fabric on and make those cuts for your slipcover or your upholstered piece. And I do have a video on that. If you're interested in how to practice making your cuts, I have a video and I'll put a link to that here in the cards. But that's a really good way if you just have to have that gorgeous designer fabric to start, and I totally understand where you're coming from. Then practice with a sheet or a drop cloth first. So, okay, I think this is number 5. Number 5 is just be patient. This one goes without saying. Sewing projects take time. And no matter what, you have to have your seam ripper on hand at all times. It's just the nature of sewing. You're going to make mistakes and you have to take seams out. And that's just the way it is. And if you know that going into it, you can look at that as not failures, but learning experiences. And just knowing it's the nature of sewing, then you can go into it with that mindset, setting those expectations that you will have to take seams out, you will have to redo things, there will be mistakes. So just be patient with yourself. And if you have a real perfectionist tendency, then just set those expectations from the beginning. Be patient. Things take time. There will be mistakes. So don't get down on yourself, beat yourself up about it. All right, and then my last tip, which I think is so important for a beginner sewist, is to set yourself up a permanent or a semi-permanent sewing space. If you have to be taking your sewing machine out of a closet, clearing off a space on your dining room table in order to begin sewing, it's just not going to happen. It's too frustrating. It takes too long. When the inspiration strikes, you need to be able to just sit down, turn your machine on, and sew. If you go to the thrift store and you buy the perfect thing and you just need to nip the waist in a little bit and you have to take your sewing machine out and find a space to sew, forget about it. It's just too difficult. Even if you have to just set up a small, tiny desk in the corner of your bedroom in order to have your sewing machine out at all times, that is better than having it put away underneath a table or in a closet somewhere. So, you know, you can put a sewing machine inside of an armoire. You can keep your sewing machine on a bedside table, even on your nightstand. If it's just pushed to the side on your nightstand, it's better to have it out than to have to drag it out and set it up and find a space. It just won't work. So that is a really important tip. Otherwise, it's out of sight, out of mind, and it just won't happen. That's just the way it is. And I have one last bonus tip for you. If you're a beginner sewer and you begin to make progress with your sewing skills and you're able to make things around your house, or you're able to alter your clothes or make clothes, when people start to find out that you know how to sew, you have to learn how to say no, because everybody and their mother is going to ask you to hem their pants or fix their zipper or sew on their buttons. So take it from me, you have to learn how to say, yes, yes, I sew, but no, I'm not going to hem your pants. So that's my last and bonus tip from this video. If you're new here and you are just starting your sewing journey and you want to see some of the interesting and unusual things that I use in my sewing space, that I use every day, that might be everyday items that you can put in your sewing space, you can watch that video right here, and I'll see you over there.